When riding the Empire State Trail, it's helpful to know some of the details of the cities and towns you'll ride through. The purpose of this video is to provide you those details about Syracuse. This video will start with a quick overview of the four major sections of Syracuse. Then we'll take a detailed look at each section. For each section, we'll look at a map and describe what you can expect. After the map, we'll show a video of riding those sections. I had the privilege of riding with Eddie O'Day through Syracuse on the Empire State Trail. Eddie's the first person to ride the entire Eastern Divide Trail from the tip of Newfoundland to the Florida Keys. That's about 6,000 miles. Part of that ride goes through the Empire State Trail through Syracuse. In the video, I catch up with Eddie and DeWitt, and we ride east to west through the city. Before we jump into the details, here are a couple things to keep in mind about riding through Syracuse. The trail through Syracuse was significantly updated in 2020 and 21 and is well marked. A lot is going on though. If it's your first time, there will be a lot to look at, which can confuse things. Take your time and pay attention to the signs. Cities like Lockport tend to have more of a straight shot through on a couple of roads, and that's not the case with Syracuse. If you ride the trail through Syracuse in late August, you can hit significant crowds around the New York State Fair. You'll see Eddie and me going through those crowds in the videos. Most other times of the year, it's not that bad. If you do ride during the fair, take your time and enjoy the unique experience of riding through crowds. There are two bike shops I would recommend in Syracuse if you need them. On the east side, right before you get to DeWitt, is a trail that goes into Fayetteville. There you'll find Resource Cycling. I believe there's a sign on the trail that says bike shop and has an arrow pointing south from the trail. They were super helpful to Eddie when he needed significant bike work. I've bought several bikes there and get mine tuned there every year. It's a mile off the Empire State Trail, but it's worth it. The other bike shop is Mellow Velo, right off the Empire State Trail, close to Water Street, where you'll be riding. And a hint, Dinosaur Barbecue downtown is great for lunch and dinner. I'll show you where on the map. With that, let's get started. The Empire State Trail website provides a great map with up-to-date information on the trail. Visit empiretrail.ny.gov and look under the map section. That's what we'll be looking at here, along with some screenshots from Google Maps. This video will take the perspective of riding from east to west, but the information can be applied if you're riding the other direction. Here's the big picture of Syracuse that'll help to situate where the trail is. Route 481 swings east around the city here. Route 81 runs north-south through the middle of the city, here. Erie Boulevard runs east-west here along where the old Erie Canal went, here. We have Onondaga Lake to the northwest of the city. And then to the west of the city, we have the New York State Fair. The two major entry points into the city along the trail are Solvay on the west side and DeWitt on the east side. If you're traveling west to east along the Empire State Trail, you'll enter Syracuse trails in Solvay on Bridge Street. This will transition from crushed gravel section to a fairly busy road on Bridge Street. If you're traveling east to west, you'll enter the Syracuse trails in DeWitt. This will transition from a paved Erie Canal path to road at the old Erie Canal State Historic Park at Butternut Creek. So you can see here that you come off of the Erie Canal paved section on the left here, and then you're going to take a left and go up this path, cross over 481, and then you've started your transition of Syracuse. There are four major sections to the trail going from east to west. You got the Erie Boulevard section, downtown section, Onondaga Creek Walk, and then the lake and fairground section. Let's do a quick rundown of each of these, but before we do, understand that most of the route is clearly marked. Keep your eyes open for the Empire State Trail signs. Also, keep your head on a swivel. Certain places can have some pretty busy traffic. So here are the sections. The Erie Boulevard section. Let's look at this in two parts. First, when you come off the paved Erie Canal Trail here, you're going to take a left, and then you're going to cross over Route 481 on a bridge that's dedicated to bikes and foot traffic. Here you're going to turn right on a towpath road. This will follow a bike lane on the road to Erie Boulevard. This bike lane is well marked and blocked off from cars. You'll follow this for about a mile. Next, you come to a big, busy intersection of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard. Be patient here. You'll cross over Bridge Street to the other side, press the crosswalk button, and when it says go, then you're going to cross over Erie Boulevard to the paved trail. Now, secondly, Erie Boulevard is a two-lane divided road with lots of businesses. The divide up the middle is a wide grassy space with the Empire Trail going right up the middle on a paved path. This was newly installed in 2020 and 21. Once on the paved path, things are pretty easy. You're separated from traffic and you can't get lost here. There are traffic lights just for the bikes when it crosses intersection streets. This path is about 3 miles long. There are some big intersections that you cross, but they're pretty straightforward to navigate. Once you get to the end of this section, it's pretty obvious where the trail ends. It's going to cross over Erie Boulevard, the westbound lane. So we're going to ride with Eddie through all 4 sections through Syracuse, and it starts here in DeWitt. So here we are coming off the Erie Canal Trail. It's paved at this portion, officially ends right here. We're going to take a left, go up this path, and then you can see 481 to the right. At the top, I'm going to make a right-hand turn, and then there's a bridge that's dedicated to foot traffic or bicycles that crosses over 481. Once we get to the other side, there's Towpath Road. On the left side of the road is a bike lane that's divided off from the rest of the road. So take a right here, and then it's probably a little more than a mile from here to Erie Boulevard. You can see again it's divided off, so it's kind of nice. You can really get some good speed going down here. Now we're coming up to a pretty big intersection here. We're going to come up to Bridge Street. We're going to cross over Bridge Street. When we get to the other side, push the crossing button, cross the westbound lane of Erie Boulevard, and then we're going to pick up the Empire State Trail up the middle of Erie Boulevard. A big road. Now Erie Boulevard is divided up the middle. Like I mentioned earlier, it's a pretty wide grassy area, and in 2020 and 21 they put this really nice path up the middle, so you can't get lost from here to the city. You got to stay on this path. This is probably actually one of the little narrower sections here. And here's one of those special traffic lights for bicyclers. Okay, pay attention here. We're going to be getting off the path that goes up the middle of Erie Boulevard. So we're going to come to this intersection. We're going to cross over to the other side, and then we're going to cut across Erie Boulevard westbound lane. So cross over, take a right. Eddie's going to push the crosswalk button. When we get over to the other side, there's a bike lane over here that's pretty well separated from the rest of Erie Boulevard. We'll be taking this down to Water Street. The downtown section. Like we mentioned in the previous section, you're going to come off of the Empire State Trail, which is running down the middle of Erie Boulevard, and then you're going to pick up Water Street. Now, when you're on Water Street, there is a nice bike shop, Mellow Velo Bicycle Shop. That's right off of the trail here. That's a good place to stop if you need parts or repairs or equipment. The next thing you're going to run into is you're going to cross under Route 81. And then once you go past Route 81, you're going to see Clinton Square on your right. Down in this area, there's some bike lanes that go through some one-way streets there. You want to follow those signs. And then you're going to get to this section here. This can be a little tricky here. The signage is pretty good. The challenge is there's also a lot going on in this area. So you're going to take a right-hand turn onto Franklin, and then you're going to take a left onto West Genesee Street. Now, in this area is the Dinosaur Barbecue. This is a very good place to stop and get a meal. They have outdoor seating. If it's a nice day, grab a pulled pork sandwich and some macaroni and cheese. Great place to get a meal. So once you're past there, then you're looking for a fire station that'll be on the corner here, and you're going to follow the signs, and then you're going to pick up the Onondaga Creek Walk Trail, and this will get us into our next section. Here we're going to make the switch from Erie Boulevard. We're going to come to this intersection, take a left, cross Erie Boulevard westbound, and then we're going to pick up Water Street. And this is really our official start of going through downtown. At the time of this filming, Water Street had a lot of construction on it, but it was easy to bypass. We just took the sidewalk down. Any city you're going to go through, there's a chance of construction going on, and this was no exception. So here we're going to pass under 81. Remember that 81 runs north-south and basically cuts the city in half. So we're coming up on that section that can be a little bit confusing. We're going to take a right here onto Franklin. Now, theoretically, the actual trail is on the other side of the street. We're going to go down. Rather than taking a left on West Genesee Street, which would be the intersection after this. We're going to go straight to Dinosaur Barbecue, which is a great place to get lunch or dinner there. They have great outdoor seating. Grab yourself a pulled pork sandwich, some beans, baked beans, and some cornbread or mac and cheese. This is a great place to stop. So we stop here, which is just off of the Empire State Trail just a little bit, but again, it's worth the stop. So here we're going to leave Dinosaur Barbecue. We are currently on West Willow Street. We're going to go straight through the intersection, and then we're going to pick up Route 5 or West Genesee Street. Going to take a right onto West Genesee Street or Route 5 here. And then just down a little bit is Wallace Street. And on the corner, you can see the fire station right there. We're going to pick up the Onondaga Creek Walk Trail. So follow the yellow line. And now we're off to our next section, the Onondaga Creek Walk. The third part, Onondaga Creek Walk. This path follows the creek, and it's really a pretty lovely ride along the creek here. This path is pretty straightforward. Keep your eye on the signs. At about a half a mile along, you'll cross over the creek and come out onto the road Maltiba Street. You're going to follow the street a very short ways. You're going to come to a T and you're going to cross over Spencer Street, and you'll pick up the trail again on the other side. This will put you into an area called the Inner Harbor, and you'll see the harbor on your right. At this point, there's several trails that all go to the same place, so if you take a little bit of a wrong turn, chances are you'll be still headed in the right direction. As you go along, you'll come to this section here. The trail signs will take you to the left. It'll cross a parking lot. You'll cross Bear Street and then go down Empire Street down to Hiawatha Boulevard. If you don't catch this, you'll keep going straight on another trail that'll take you to the same place. It'll take you to Hiawatha Boulevard. In both of these places, you're going to take a left. Here onto Hiawatha Boulevard, there's a bike lane on the other side of the road. You're going to take a left, follow that bike lane, and then you're going to come down to where the Empire State Trail goes off of Hiawatha Boulevard, and it's going to go west, and you'll see it go over a bridge and this is just for a bike and footpath here. This will take you into the next section, which is the lake and fairgrounds section. This is one of the few places where I thought signage was lacking. It's not clear whether you go straight or to the right. Turns out you go to the right. If you go to the left, it dead ends and there's a stairway up to the same place. So it's not a big deal. When you get to the top of this, you're going to hook a left. Again, signage isn't clear. Go left. Here we're going to cross over Onondaga Creek. And then this is going to dump us out onto a street here. Once we get to the street, we're going to take an immediate right. And then it's a short distance down to a T in the road here. Going to cross the street, and on the other side we're going to take a left down the sidewalk and then take an almost immediate right, following the yellow line. So when we cross the road here, we're going to be entering into what's known as the Inner Harbor area of Syracuse. When you cross over, it can be a little confusing. The trail goes right and left. The Empire State Trail goes to the left. And then we drop back down towards the the Inner Harbor. That building that you just saw on the left there's Myers Brewery is in there. So if you want to stop for a beer, that's a good place to get a brew. Here's that place I was telling you about. The trail goes straight, but what you need to do is take a left here at this intersection. I actually got Eddie kind of mixed up here. So if you go straight, you'll come out on Hiawatha Boulevard. If you do, you take a left on the Hiawatha. But here you're going to take a left. You're going to go down a little ways, and then you're going to come into a parking lot. The trail comes out of the parking lot on the right-hand side. Now what you're going to do is you're going to cross over and keep going straight down that road. There's your Empire State Trail sign on the right there. So this will go down, and this will also hit Hiawatha Boulevard. Once you come out on Hiawatha Boulevard, either way, you can take a left. Hiawatha Boulevard is a very busy road, so be a little careful here. There is a bike lane on the southbound lane. And what we're looking for here is the Empire State Trail goes off to the right, and it's going to go off of the road and then go up a bridge and then over some railroad tracks. So we're going to get on the sidewalk here, and here's the trail that we get off on. All right, on to the next section. Lake and Fair section. This starts by going over a bridge over railroad tracks. This section will be about 4 miles. Once you're on top of the bridge on Lakeside, there's a nice place to sit and view the lake. Bald eagles nest and fish along this end of the lake. Once you're down off the bridge, the trail is nice and smooth along the edge of the lake there. You'll reach a small marina on the right. You're going to bear right, and this will take you up a steady climb where you'll come to an intersection. The Onondaga Lake Trail continues straight. The Empire State Trail, on the other hand, makes a hairpin turn to the left and continues to climb. There's a nice observation point that looks over the lake at the top of this climb. From here, it gets tricky. The trail will drop down to a parking lot for the New York State Fair. When the fair is going in late August, this can be a very busy place from this point to where you pick up the Empire State Trail in Solvay on Bridge Street. I once crossed through here when the fair was going on, and it was very crowded. When you come to the parking lot, what you're shooting for is a crosswalk that covers over some bridges. So you'll come into the parking area here, and then you'll see the bridges over here. The signage through here, there are signs, but it can be a little bit hard to follow. So however you make your way from here to the bridges, these bridges go over 690, and then they go over State Fair Boulevard here. This will drop you down to the entrance of the State Fair in this area here. You want to go straight off of the ramp. The ramp will come down. The entrance is located here, but you want to follow State Fair Boulevard down to Bridge Street. Some people get lost in this area. Some of the maps may show you actually going through the State Fair. Do not recommend that. Go down State Fair Boulevard, and then you're going to take a right onto Bridge Street. From here, Bridge Street is going to climb steadily up over these railroad tracks and then drop you down to the Empire State Trail, where you're going to basically exit the whole Syracuse section. A couple thoughts here. During the fair, there's a lot of traffic and a lot of people walking along here. There's a very wide sidewalk that goes along the right side of the road here. Any other time beside the fair, you can ride along there and you'll be fine. If it's during the fair, you may have to ride up the street there. Just watch out for people and traffic. People can be a little squirrely here. Down here, there's a scrapyard, and there's a truck entrance here. You can get up a little bit of speed going along here. The entrance is you can see it, but the truck drivers may not see you. So just be a little careful when you pass this area here. Once you get past this, then you're pretty home free here. You're going to go down the road a little bit here, and then you're going to see the trail on your right-hand side. And at this point, you're through Syracuse. So we've left the Onondaga Creek Walk, and now we're heading out to Onondaga Lake. This bridge was built in, I think it was 2020 or 21, to go over a major set of railroad tracks. It's quite the bridge. When you get to the top and you just get over the other side, it makes a left-hand turn, but at that point you can actually sit there. There's some benches that overlook the lake. It's actually quite nice. So you can begin to see Onondaga Lake here. At what point, Onondaga Lake was one of the most polluted lakes in the country, but they spent $400 million to help clean it up. Sometimes you can see bald eagles down at this end of the lake too, and you can see a little sitting area there. But we need to roll, so on we go. Once off the bridge, it's a long, smooth road along the edge of the lake. It's actually quite pretty along here. A lot of wild grasses and flowers along here, and then you can see the lake. This is part of a trail extension that actually goes most of the way around the lake. The Empire Trail will only go a little bit of the ways up towards the State Fair parking lots, which we'll get to eventually. Off to the right here is a parking area for a marina that we didn't get some video of that. But you're going to bear to the right, cross the driveway into the marina, and then you see that hill kind of to the left there. It's a fairly, I wouldn't say it's a long hill, but there's a long gradual incline up here. Towards the top of this incline is that hairpin turn to the left that I was telling you about. There is another path that goes off to the left before this, that's not the turn. That goes to like a little seating area. A little bit more uphill here, not much. And then at the end of this, there's going to be an overlook that's, you know, stop and take some pictures there. It's a nice view of the lake. I mentioned earlier in the video that if you travel the Empire State Trail through Syracuse in late August, you're going to run into the New York State Fair. That's exactly what's going on here. You're going to see way more crowds than you would see any other time of year. So go slow and be careful through here. Now, you're going to come out into the parking lot. The signage here can be a little confusing. I would just say cut across the parking lot. What you're looking for is, and you can kind of see it to the left there, there's a crosswalk that goes over Route 690. And you're shooting for that crosswalk. And you can see the people coming out of the parking lot. They're also going to their crosswalk. So you can see it's going to be really, really crowded here. So again, take your time, be patient, enjoy the experience. Now, there's actually two crosswalks. The one you just went over is 690, and then here's the second crosswalk. This one goes over State Fair Boulevard and some of the parking areas for the fair. Once you get to the end of this, it's going to take a hard left into the entrance to the State Fair. And here we are. We're going to take that left. And this is where it can get confusing any time of the year, let alone when there's tons of people. What you want to do is when you come off of this ramp, you're going to pick up the road to your left there and go straight to the intersection. Some of the signage may try and take you through the State Fair. I don't recommend that. That just gets too crazy. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump on this road onto the shoulder here, say hi to the policeman, and then up at this intersection, we're going to take a right turn onto Bridge Street. This too can be kind of crazy. A lot of people park on the other side of the bridge, and then they walk over to the fair. And not to mention a lot of cars and traffic. If you're riding during the fair, I recommend staying on the road. You'll see in the video that I actually try and ride on the sidewalk, which was not a good idea. The sidewalk is quite large, so other times of the year, I would just recommend getting on this sidewalk here. You can see how big it is. Other times of year, it's not crowded. It keeps you away from traffic. But I'm coming up here, and there's an entrance into the fair up here, and I ran into a whole bunch of people, so it's better to stay over on the road. Okay, here, Eddie's about to pull into a driveway here. Watch out for here. This is a scrapyard and trucks come in and out of there, and you can see with all the foliage in front of it, it can be hard to see a truck. Almost got hit once going through there, so keep your eyes peeled, slow down before that. And you're almost officially through Syracuse here. Up here on the right is the Empire State Trail. It picks up a crushed gravel path. And there's the sign. Take a right, and you are officially through Syracuse. There's a little paved portion here, And it's kind of funny, you hit this crushed stone path and you're off and you don't hardly see anything. So there you have it, how to navigate Syracuse. I hope you found this video helpful. If so, hit that like button and consider subscribing. I have another video that picks up from the end of this video where we leave Syracuse and describes the trail westward through Jordan, Weedsport, and Port Byron. So, now get to those trails.